Hey everybody, it's Matt Larson. Hey, in this video, I'm going to teach you how to do the math. This video is going to teach you how to find your max offer price. Okay, so somewhere, around the side of my head on either side, we're going to have a little bit of animation going here, and you'll be able to kind of follow along as we go. So first of all, you guys have went through the videos on how to find the ARV, the after repaired value. That is the same as figuring the retail price of a property. That is, the property's in perfect move-in condition. So once you have that number, you're going to take that number times 0.85. Now, why 0.85? Well, that's no different than subtracting 15% off the ARV. So where's that come from? Well, all of your buyers that sell properties, they're going to buy this property and they're likely to resell it and flip the property. So let's think about some of the costs that they have when they do that. For one, you've got closing costs. Closing costs are going to be between 1 and 3%. Now, I've raised it to the high side of that to give you a little extra, protection so that you're not overpricing the property. So we took 3% for the closing costs. We also took another 3% of the closing costs when you sell. So you got closing costs when you buy, and you got closing costs when you sell. So that adds up to 6%. Now, when they go to list it with a realtor, they're probably going to pay about 6% commission. That's kind of the national average. So we've got to add that 6%. And then also, they're going to have a potential of not getting the full ARV. A lot of times there's, the average property nationwide that's priced right where it should be sells within 3 or 4% of the asking price. All buyers are going to maybe offer just a little bit less. If you add all those numbers together, it actually adds up to 15%. Just to save you time, once you go get the ARV, take it times 0.85. Now you're going to subtract out the rehab costs. So whatever rehab you came up with, $25,000, we'll use an example, then you subtract that out. So then after that, you take out the buyer's profit. How much profit does the buyer want to make? A lot of times they want to make 10% or 15% on the deal. Some of them are at 20%, but just remember, you're going to stick with the buyers that allow you to make a fair profit yourself. And then lastly, you're going to subtract out your wholesale profit. If you're trying to make, $5,000 on that deal, you need to subtract that out from the beginning. So if we do the math, let's use an example. Let's say it's a $100,000 house. So we take 100,000 times 0.85. Now we have 85,000. We subtract out the rehab cost. Let's say that's 25,000. So now we're at 60,000. And then we take out the buyer's profit. Let's say the buyer's trying to make $15,000 on this fix and flip. So now we're at $45,000. And then let's say you're going to offer, or you're trying to make $5,000. We subtract that out. So we're at $40,000. So very simple math. Either the deal works or it doesn't. You can't overpay, but it's real simple. ARV times 0.85 minus rehab minus the buyer's profit minus your profit, and that gives you your max offer price. So once you figure that, you got to offer a little bit less than that. That way it gives you room to negotiate. Now, that's a very logical way to figure the math. I can tell you right now that the market conditions we're currently experiencing are not logical. People are making emotional decisions. People are grabbing real estate as fast as they can, and some of them are overpaying. So I'm going to show you another formula that you can use as well, especially in the higher price markets, because I don't want you to make offers that are so low that they're never getting accepted. And the first formula I just showed you, that can happen on occasion in some markets. So this formula I'm going to show you is another way to be able to offer and get properties at the right price. So imagine retail price is here. Okay, let's say that's 100% of the value. That's the ARV, the after repaired value. So let's say it's 100%. Now let's say that number is 100,000, just using easy numbers. So the house perfectly rehabbed is worth 100,000. And let's say that the foreclosures in the area are selling for 80,000, 80% of the full market value. So that's 80,000. So retail's here, foreclosures are selling here. Your profit in those markets, if you get the house under contract for $70,000 and the foreclosures are selling for $80,000, your profit is the difference in between. So in this case, as long as you sold the property for at or below foreclosure pricing, you would make $10,000. Now I want you to go through and think that through. Sometimes that confuses people or it takes a minute to sink in, but it's pure genius when you really understand it. People, the house is worth this, foreclosures are selling for this, you get the house under contract for this, your profit is the difference between. Now, what's an easy way to figure the REOs? Well, you can easily do foreclosure comps just like you just learned how to do full retail comps. The only difference is when you're doing foreclosure comps, you exclude all of the retail properties and you only do comps on the houses that sold distressed through REOs. One other thing you can do is you can look at properties that sold like on auction.com and some of those other foreclosure websites and use some of those comps as your comps for finding the foreclosure value. It's not hard to do. It's the same concept behind running full comps, only the difference is there's no properties in there that you're using that were in perfect retail condition. So anyway, those are two ways to figure out how you make your profit. If you follow those guidelines, you will make a profit. Those guidelines will help you make the right offer so you don't have to back out of a bunch of contracts, and it'll also help you discover how much profit you can make on a deal so you don't sell it too cheap. I want you to maximize your profits the best as possible. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you in the next video.